We got some breaking news again. We're making a habit of this stuff, right? It's not exclusive. It's breaking news, but it's not our news. Credit has to go to David Ornstein for this particular one, and that is that Ibrahim Osman. We've had a £15 million bid rejected for the player. So there you go. It's as simple as that. I think there is definitely still interest in the player there. And I guess negotiations are going to continue on. But I think that certainly demonstrates serious intent from the club's part. I do wonder if actually David Moyes, because ex-West Ham United employee had said that David Moyes, Mark Noble and Tim Stuyton all agreed that this is the guy. And I'm just wondering if David Moyes actually thinks it's Leon Osman and he's got himself confused, because this doesn't look to me like a David Moyes signing at all. In fact, I would possibly argue that Kalvin Phillips is David Moyes signing. This one's a Tim Stuyton signing. But what do I know? That's just what I perceive to be going on there. I should probably say something about Osman. Earlier on, I did a video with Gio, and I got something wrong. I've just got to hold my hands up and say I got something wrong. A couple of people very upset. Let me just tell you what I've done. I'll tell you what's got me put on a naughty step. So Ibrahim Osman, I've never heard of him before, and he plays for a club that I've never heard of before, and I got confused, and I thought the Scandinavian club was Norwegian, and it was actually Danish. So I do apologise, by the way. Not for the people that are really offended, that's ridiculous. But if I sent you on a wild goose chase and you were frantically searching the Norwegian league and couldn't find this geezer, I do apologise. He's in the Danish league, but he does look to be a very, very good player. I'm just surprised that I got that wrong, really, because West Ham have got quite a good affiliation with the Danish league, because it was only in the summer that we signed Mohamed Kudus and Edson Alvarez from Ajax of Amsterdam. So I'm surprised I got that one wrong. Anyway, over to Kalvin Phillips. We got two different stories here. So one of them is that Kalvin Phillips doesn't have an option to buy, and the other one is that one of them does and one of them he doesn't. Those are only the two things that can happen. I'm reading between the lines here, and let me tell you what I believe has happened with Kalvin Phillips. I believe that West Ham do have an option to buy. I think the reason that a high-placed club source, has come out and said, "Oh, we don't have that," is actually the clue is in the wording. What the club source has said is that the wages are too high. I think this is very much a shot across the bows. This is my interpretation of it if we dumb it down. That is that West Ham are going to loan Kalvin Phillips from Manchester City. The loan is from now until the end of the season. That's absolutely fine. If we want to sign him on a permanent transfer, then the deal has been arranged and been agreed. So let's say the loan deal now is $5 million. To buy him outright will be $35 million. The whole deal is $40 million, not including wages. I think if we want to make the deal permanent, here's where it comes in. He's going to have to take a drop in wages. I think it's as simple as that. What I think we're hearing from these high-placed club sources is just, I don't know why they do it, but I do believe it to be information leaked out into the media as a message to Kalvin Phillips. Oi, we'd like to sign you, but not on those wages. I understand he's on 135 grand a week. Could be wrong, could be right, but let's be fair, could be 20 grand out either way. One thing we do know is he's going to be in really high wages at Manchester City. And I think it's fair enough, actually. I think it's fair enough asking him to take a drop in wages. I just think probably the conversation is better had with the player directly himself. So I do believe the option is there. And I think, as I said, this makes, because we don't know about David Moyes' future, I think this makes sense. I don't want to repeat what I said yesterday on that score. But I think if Kalvin Phillips got a situation here, really, he's not just... It's a slightly different to the Jesse Lingard situation. Jesse Lingard was looking to get back into the England squad. He was looking to impress Gareth Southgate. I think it's safe to say Kalvin Phillips is already in the England squad. And let's be fair, if you are one of Gareth Southgate's favourites, it doesn't matter whether you don't play football or not. We've seen this with Jordan Henderson, we've seen it with Kalvin Phillips, and we've seen it with Harry Maguire. There's probably more aside from that, but those are the ones that spring to mind. And so, but what is important, I think, is that Kalvin Phillips is playing football. And he knows that. So this just keeps him... This doesn't get him into Gareth Southgate's squad. This keeps him in the England team. And I must make this point when I'm getting really excited about this transfer. I can't remember the last time West Ham signed a current England first teamer. We've signed players before who were going to go on to play for England. We've signed players before who used to play for England. We've signed players like James Ward-Prowse who have been in the odd England squad, but you would never call them guaranteed England first team players. Kalvin Phillips is that. And that's why I just think he's a big improvement. But make no mistake about it. If he values first team football and he enjoys it at West Ham, and there's every reason to believe he will do. Because I do think Kalvin Phillips probably, and not guarantees, but helps ensure that West Ham get European football again next season. And it's a good club for him to be at. Look, he's tried the thing at the Champions League club. It's not worked out, okay? He couldn't get in the team. I'm not saying he's not a Champions League level player. I think he's a really, really good player. I think he's an excellent player. I think he improves West Ham's team, and that's really all you can ask for. But I still think that he went from Leeds, which playing no European football, to a Champions League club. Maybe, just maybe, him playing regularly in the Premier League and playing for a Europa League club, which is what we are, is going to do him the world of good. And quite possibly, there is a deal to be made there. If he wants to sign permanently on a dotted line and, you know, he has to take a drop of wages in 15 to 20 grand a week, will he do that? Look, he's become rich at Manchester City, and he'll continue to be rich even if he plays for West Ham. He's not gonna suddenly go to the food bank, is he? Let's be perfectly honest here. You know, he'll still earn millions of pounds every year. So I think that's all it is. I think it's basically, if West Ham want to sign Kalvin Phillips permanently, he has to take a wage cut, and I think it's as simple as that. The other thing I just sort of wanted to address, because as we're talking through a lot of this Kalvin Phillips stuff, you see him. There's lots and lots of comments, lots of varied comments. I must say, though, the vast majority of the comments think this is a good transfer. But there's a number of comments which are look, it's a fine take, but it's asking, well, where does he fit into the team? Why have we signed this player? Where does he fit into the team? Now, it's really hard to take those comments and balance them up with what seems to be the perceived observation of West Ham, which is West Ham's squad isn't big enough. And I often see this when West Ham are looking to sign a player. Well, where's he going to fit in the team? It's almost a case of, we don't need to sign him because when fit, he doesn't get into the team, because Edson Alvarez plays, because Souček plays, because Ward-Prowse plays, Paquetá plays, whatever the case may be. Firstly, I think he gets into the first team. So for me, it's not even an argument. But what I don't get is, I just don't, I've never understood this, never. Why are we signing this player? He wouldn't get into the first team. Even if he didn't, we do not have a backup central midfielder. We don't. Look, we had Conor Coventry there. Conor Coventry's gone. Conor Coventry wasn't used anyway. Flynn Downs is gone. We don't have one. When Edson Alvarez doesn't play, we are crap. We are crap. The combination of James Ward-Prowse and Thomas Souček in central midfield doesn't work at all. We need another midfielder. I mean, it doesn't work. We've got Arsenal coming up next. We've got Bournemouth, we've got Arsenal, we've got Man United. Those are the next 3 games. You know, if we find ourselves in a situation whereby we've got Thomas Souček and James Ward-Prowse in the middle, we're losing the games. And I think we lose all of them, by the way. Look, that midfield partnership can't do it against Bristol City and Sheffield United. It's that bad that when a fullback comes on in central midfield, things improve. So we need a midfielder. And I don't even believe it's either him or it's either or, him and Alvarez. I think they both play in the same team. But I think when Alvarez is out and he misses games, and he misses a lot of games, through either suspension or every time he goes away with Mexico, or he does get injured a little bit as well, let's be fair. There's nothing wrong. Alvarez is a really, really good player. But you know, like there's 38 Premier League games, he's the type of player who probably plays 28 of them. And that's absolutely fine, but he's not Declan Rice, who plays almost like every minute of every game, if you get my point there. We need another midfielder. So I think really it's as plain and simple as that, really. So I think this is a really, really good move. I've not said too much on the Osman thing, because I guess we're going to go back with another deal. Go back to the Norwegian club with another deal, you know. And, so I think we'll hopefully be back with an update. More breaking news on that. But for the moment, my take on the situation, some confusion around Kalvin Phillips. What I think is going to happen, I think if he's going to sign permanently for West Ham, he's going to have to take a pay cut.